Welcome back, everybody, to Brick System Brothers for video number 333, special edition. We have done videos for our 200th and our 300th, kind of more of a special edition, just looking at milestones on the channel. And so for this kind of interesting 333rd video, I was trying to find Lego sets that had 333 pieces, and I managed to find 4 of them. So I'm going to take a look at those today. The first one up is a 2017 set. Dragster Transporter. It was in the city line, and like the box says, it had 333 pieces. Two minifigs here. This is an interesting set, just in terms of subject material. Dragster was not on the cargo lineup until this set, unless you go back far enough until you get to the 4-wide stuff from town, and then there might have been something similar. So kind of an interesting set. In terms of your value, it was at $30, and so for price per piece, it comes out to 9 cents, which is pretty standard. 10 is kind of the benchmark. If you go over 10 cents a piece, that's maybe a little bit of an overpriced set, and then anything underneath 7 or 8 cents is a pretty good deal. So looking at new Lego in the box specifically, that 10 cent per piece benchmark, and that's in US dollars. So I guess kind of a regular old set for City 60151 from 2017. Next one up is the 2016. I guess technically this should have been first because it's 2016, but this was actually re-released in 2019. So if you kind of average those out, maybe it can go in between Dragster Transporter and the next one. So this architecture set has been seen twice. The first time in 2016 and recently in 2019 again. The only real change I think here is an updated set number. So it was first released as 21031 and later released as 21055. Sometimes if a set is popular enough, Lego will re-release it with a new set number, as we saw with the Ideas Saturn V and Ship in a Bottle last year. So the Burj Khalifa, pretty iconic building, and this set also has 333 pieces. Now, the interesting thing about this set is the price point. As an architecture set, it's actually going to get bumped up to the next tier, which is $40. So this actually has a lower value of 12 cents a piece. Again, looking at maybe a slightly overpriced set. But in terms of the packaging, there is a slightly more robust box for the architecture line. It's more of, I don't want to say a luxury product, but it's on the higher end of Lego sets, just in terms of what the company wants to deliver in a set and the building experience therein. So the architecture series has kind of been, you know, maybe slightly above quality for a while, compared to, you know, the other sets maybe designed for a lower age range, these appealing to more adult collectors. Another interesting thing about architecture is this very minimalist black box is now being integrated with the 18 Plus line, which is specifically designed for adult builders, adult fans of Lego, also known as AFOLs. So the Burj Khalifa, 333 pieces. Technically this is only one set, but it has 2 different numbers. So the Dragster Transporter, and now 2019 saw 31094, the race plane. This is a creator set, 333 pieces. And it does feature a minifig. So creator sets didn't always feature minifigs, but within the last couple of years, those have started slipping in. The other interesting thing here is, you know, it almost feels, it's starting to feel like a city set, just in terms of the subject material with the minifig again, but still distinctively creator flavor here, going back to the color scheme, somewhat blocky, and these 3-in-1 rebuilds, so also rebuilds into a helicopter and a different jet. These sets actually include the instructions for these rebuilds. Back in the old days, Lego showed pictures of what else the set could be rebuilt into, but didn't necessarily have step-by-step instructions for all those models. So the Creator 3-in-1 does provide 3 different instructions for the product, and that helps bring the product to a lower age range, so that those kids could build it. Kids who wouldn't necessarily know how to go about building something without provided instructions. Another thing I noticed that was interesting while looking at this was the blueprints. I definitely saw these blueprints in a lot of sets last year in 2020, But this is, I think, the first one that I've seen from 2019. So maybe looking at the origin of these kind of blueprint designs that were included with the rest of the promotional images for the product. Value here, $30 set. So again, we're looking at that 9 cent per piece mark. Pretty standard. Creator, usually pretty good about value. One of the sets last year was a lunar rover that was closer to like 7 or 8 cents a piece. And you can get down there. Sometimes it's because they're smaller pieces, but most of the time for Creator, if there's a number in between like 333, it'll get rounded down to that $30 price point, as opposed to the Burj Khalifa, which got rounded up to the $40 price point, being kind of a higher end set. So the race plane, the last set that I've found within a couple minutes of looking, just using some filters to narrow it down. There could be more than this, but these are kind of within the past 5 years and would be recognizable. Sets that have 333 pieces is the 40410 Charles Dickens Tribute. This was a set from last year, right at the end of the year. It was a gift with purchase. So this set could be picked up by ordering a certain value amount of Lego on the online site or in the retail stores, but kind of limited opportunity to do that with COVID. So once that benchmark was reached in terms of the order value, this was actually added to the cart for free. It's called a gift with purchase. It's been going on for a long time, and so this was one of the Christmas time gift with purchases from Lego last year. 333 pieces, 3 minifigs. So in terms of value here, we do have a price point on here for $23. I'm not actually sure where this is coming from. This was possibly sold for that price point somewhere, maybe on Amazon. But in the official description, the offer was it cannot be purchased, exchanged, or substituted for cash value. So Lego, I don't think officially puts a value on these sets because they're intended to be a gift with purchase. So in this case, you kind of have to go off of piece count and exclusive items. It turns out quite a few of these pieces are exclusive to the set, and there's some pieces that are harder to find, and the stickers, of course, would be exclusive. So just in terms of that, definitely worth $30 and possibly more. We'll have to keep an eye on this on the secondary market. Actually, we'll check the eBay listings here that are linked from Brickset, and it seems like we've got a 40, 42, 35, 40, 40, and 30. So kind of averaging across the range, maybe a $35 value. Of course, these are all probably still boxed, new and sealed box, being a pretty recent set within the past couple months. I also have this checked as wanted. I think it's an interesting gift with purchase. There was going to be something, if something came up that interested me a lot to purchase online, I was going to do that and have this added in. But nothing really came up around Christmas last year, so I decided to let this one pass. It's not impossible to find these on the secondhand market, even years down the road. They're usually somewhat common, not as rare as you might think, I guess. Definitely harder to find immediately during the promotional period, but wait a little while and see what turns up. I've actually spotted a similar gift with purchase like this from a couple years ago in the local hobby store in the Des Moines area. Back when I was in school in Ames, I would go down to JCD and Hobby, and they had one of these sealed in the box for 20 bucks. So an interesting thing to include nonetheless for this short video about sets with 333 pieces. So to kind of recap, there were a total of 4 or 5, depending on how you count it, sets within the last couple years, and again, possibly some way back in the day, but inventories for those sets not as accurate as we have now. So I didn't really dig too deep to find, oh, this 1978 set actually has 333 pieces, even though it says it only has 331. Didn't necessarily try to do a bunch of research. I just wanted to look at some things that were maybe interesting in terms of having the 333 piece count. Not really one of our typical content videos here, just wanted to do something special for the 333rd video milestone. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time on Brick System Brothers.